What is up, YouTube knife people? This is Irked Particle, or Patrick, as my actual name is, and I'm here for an overview on a knife that I have not really seen much of on YouTube. This is the Reate Horizon D NC Blade exclusive in fat carbon scales with Mokuti pivot collars and pocket clip. This particular one is the Lava Flow. There's also an Arctic Storm and a White Storm. So there's three different types. I heard another YouTuber say that there were 40 or 50 of these made of each one. I had to take mine apart. The box didn't have any information, but on the inside, on the titanium side scale, on the inside it says that mine is number 96. It says 096. Or, if you flip it around the other way, it says 960. But I know there's not, like 1,000 of these, so I'm pretty sure it's 096. The base model of just the knife for any of those three types is $445. That is with the regular pocket clip. Here, I'm going to get that out right now. So here is the packaging, right? Here's the box comes in. It's a magnetic box. This is Reate Knives. Here's the info. Model Horizon D, Lava Flow Red, 6AL4V titanium, bead blasted. That's on the scale side. It is an M390. It's got the hand satin finish, and it's the 2021 version. Here's the Velcro case that came in. It does come with extra hardware. It comes with like a little Reate patch. It comes with extra hardware, a couple extra screws, a couple of the washers that the multi-row ball bearings go against, microfiber cloth, and then where the knife goes is actually Velcroed as well. And it's got a really nice, soft, velvety interior. It's really, really nice, and it did come with a pouch, a Reate pouch as well. So that is the packaging. Also, I wanted to show, here is the original pocket clip that comes installed on the knife. So if you get the Mokuti clip, they're going to give you the Mokuti clip in this package here, and you'll have to install it yourself. If you're going to buy a knife for $445, or if you buy it with the Mokuti clip, it's $525. If you're going to buy that, they probably safely assume that you have a couple T6s laying around. Or sorry, I'm sorry, T8. These are T8s. Anyway, here's the original pocket clip that comes on the knife. It looks like Flowmascus. I don't know if that's technically Flowmascus or not, but it looks just like Flowmascus. It's a really nice clip. It actually is really nice. So if you want to go with this clip, that's going to cost you $445. If you want the Mokuti clip, that's going to be an extra $80, and that's going to take you up to... see if I can get that to focus. That's going to take you up to the $525. The Mokuti clip is absolutely beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. And you've got these Mokuti pivot collars here. I almost need to get another light source. I've got plenty of light in here, but just the way that this is looking under the camera, I'm gonna get another light source here. This is kind of a very white light here. So it's not going to really look quite right like it does in person. It doesn't, the other YouTuber, I can't remember who it was, but he said it doesn't photograph well, which is true, and it doesn't video all that well either. It looks a lot better in person. The Mokuti just kind of changes the way it looks depending on the angle you hold it at. Yeah, that might be a good angle. Anyway, it's awesome. So, let's do some specs real quick. Okay, so straight from the website, from NC Blade's website, the blade is 3.8 inches with a cutting edge of 3.75. So they've got it on here as basically the blade length is the cutting edge. And the blade thickness is 0.157 inches, which translates to 3.988 millimeters. So it's a 4 millimeter blade thickness. It is overall length of 8.75, so it's a pretty big boy. It's almost 9 inches. Then I did a couple measurements of my own because I was curious. I measured the blade height just pretty much from the middle of the blades, so from right about here to here. The blade height is 1.13 inches, so it's a pretty tall blade. The handle thickness, from right about the middle, just past the pocket clip right about here, the handle thickness is 0.548, so a little over half an inch thick. So the handle height from about halfway, not counting the pocket clip, the handle height is 1.13. The blade height is 1.1, so basically the same from the middle here and the middle here. So let's do some size comparisons real quick here. We have the Paramilitary 2. We have the Para 3. Put these up here. The way my camera is angled, they're probably going to look a little off. So I am going to flip them just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like on either side. Okay, move this guy up a bit. All right, so that's the Para 3 and the PM2. Then we're going to do the bug out. That's the bug out. That's the Flytanium crossfade scales in titanium. Here's a 940, again titanium SMKW scales, but still gives you an idea. These are about the same size. The scales should be about the same size as the standard bug out and 940. And I'll also flip that to the other side. So it's definitely bigger than these guys. It's a big boy. All right. And the last one that I will do is the Civivi Elementum. So it's a pretty large knife. You know, anything that's getting close to 9 inches in my book is a pretty big guy. Pretty big guy. So yeah, there's your Elementum there. So yeah, pretty big knife. So anyway, the main reason I wanted to do this video, and I wanted to do it now, is, well, for one, I just got this yesterday. Two, I have only seen one like actual review on the knife, but he had the Arctic Storm and he did a review. And then I saw one other video of somebody who had the Arctic Storm and the lava flow, and they just did like a quick, like 1 minute video just kind of showing the knife, but they didn't close the knife on camera. The other guy did say that he adjusted the lock bar on his so it would be more drop shutty. I did a little bit of that on mine, but it made somewhat of a difference. It's not actually drop shutty, but it is kind of shake shutty. Just as a note, when I first opened the knife from the box, it was very, very reluctant to drop. I mean, I could get it to drop, but I had to really, really shake. And when you would move the blade on the pivot, you could actually hear the sliding on those multi-road bearings. But as soon as I added Gunny Glide, you could add whatever type of lubrication you want to add, but I added a drop of Gunny Glide on each side of the blade, and almost instantly the blade was able to be shaken shut pretty dang easily. I would say it's probably the best improvement I've had for the least amount of lubrication to add than I've ever had on any other knife. It was a night and day difference with just 2 drops of Gunny Glide. It was unbelievable. Now, I did disassemble it, and I did clean around the pivot and everything. And I did remove the steel lock bar insert, and I did push the lock bar over. I was really gentle about it, though, because, you know, it's a really nice knife, and I didn't want to get the lock bar pushed so far over that I had no detent, or way too weak of a detent. The lockup, I would say, is only around, I mean, I guess 20%. It might even be 15%. As you can see, the lockup is very early. It looks about the same as it did before I adjusted the lock bar. It's really early lockup on it. I mean, it's solid. It's definitely solid, but that's early lockup. I consider that really early lockup on it. And by moving the lock bar, I mean, if I moved the lock bar, it was very, very minor movement that I took it outward. Like I said, it looks about the same lockup as it did before I made that adjustment. So if you're wondering about what the action is like on this, when you, at least mine, when I first got it, without lubrication, it was pretty rough. I mean, you really would have to push it closed. After adding lubrication, it was, my God, a huge difference. Nearly as good as this, as what you're seeing right now, nearly as good as that. But then after pushing the lock bar out a little bit, it got to the point where it's, you know, it's not a guillotine, but it's pretty good. I mean, look, I don't have to shake. What was that? 2 kind of minor shakes, and it closes. So very little effort to close the knife now. So it feels good. Another thing I didn't go over is the weight. This is a heavy dude. This knife weighs, I've already weighed it, but I want to show you on camera here. All right, we got it set to ounces. This knife weighs over 5, almost 6 ounces. 5.72 ounces. It is a thick boy. That is a heavy knife. Just as a comparison, the Paramilitary 2, this one's in carbon fiber and with a different pocket clip. You know, this is 3.66. A lot lighter. You know, the Para 3, again, I've got this kind of customized, got the Lynch clip, and we got the RGT scales, but that's 322. And even with titanium, the bug out is 289. The 940 with the SMKW titanium comes in at 348. So we're talking, you know, a couple ounces heavier even than these other titanium knives. And then we got the Elementum that we did earlier, and that's at 272. So, you know, we're talking more than twice as heavy as the Elementum. This weighs 2 Elementums plus. I have one other Reate here. This is my only other Reate. Let's get a weight on this. This is the Evo Typhoon. That's 427. So the Horizon D weighs still a full 1.5 ounces heavier than the Evo Typhoon. So it's a heavy guy. While I have that out, let's go ahead and do a size comparison with the Evo Typhoon. You know, that might be a knife that you're interested in. If you have an Evo Typhoon, maybe you'd be interested in a Horizon D, and here's the size comparison on those. Let's move this guy up a little bit. So it's bigger than the Evo Typhoon, not by a ton. I want to say the Evo Typhoon is closer to 8.5 inches long, if I line them up butt to butt. Yeah, it's pretty close. This is just a lot taller in the handle, and it's definitely thicker in the handle than the Evo Typhoon. You can see it right there. So anyway, that'll just give you some, you know, give you an idea of what we're looking at. Oh, you know what? I'll do one other size comparison while I'm here. Why not? We're all about size comparisons today. We'll do the Delica. I forgot to do the standard kind of Nick Shabazz Delica. Look at that. It's actually surprisingly not so much bigger than the Delica than I thought it would be. I actually thought it would be a little larger, kind of comically large compared to the Delica. But it's really not too bad. Anyway, it is a big knife, for sure. I am 6'4". I'm a big guy, I'm a tall guy. And the grip, you can see when I grip, I still have a fair amount of handle sticking out. Here's where your finger falls in relation to the blade. So I got a little boo-boo right there. Here's where it falls in relation to the blade. You can choke up like a little bit on here. There's not a full finger choil or anything, but you can choke up some. You know, hold like right here. The way that the drop point comes down really makes it comfortable to place your thumb on top of the blade to use. Also, check out that little cutout. I think that's really cool. That fuller, I know, I watched an old Nick Shabazz review, and he said that this was an ugly for him, this fuller, a crud groove, he called it. It doesn't bother me. It does go into the handle. It does go down in the handle, so if you're using it, you're cutting like an apple or something, that does give you a channel. It gives you a channel for the juice to fall right down into the pivot. So I can see the criticism, but in my opinion, if you own a knife like this and you get lemon juice or apple juice or something like that in there, take the thing apart and clean it, man. If you own a knife like this, I could assume that you don't have that much of a problem cleaning the thing. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. But check out that satin, that hand rubbed satin. Looks awesome. And Nick mentioned this in his video too, the Reate, the way the Reate is engraved. It's really nice. You can actually, it's really engraved in there, but it's not so deep that it's kind of, you know, unbelievably deep. It's just deep enough to really be pronounced and easy to see. Not a lot of billboarding here, really. You just got the M390 written in, I think, a reasonable size font there. And the Reate on this side, that's all you got. That's it. The flipper tab is kind of big. It's a pretty big flipper tab. Not any bigger or any worse than the Evo Typhoon. You know, I don't think it's too bad. You know, it's not a really terrible pocket pecker, I don't think. If I'm sliding my hand in my pocket to get something, I mean, yeah, my finger's going to hit it, but I mean, to me, that's not that big a deal. Get over it. I mean, big whoop. I go reach in my pocket, grab my wallet. It's not that big a deal. I never really had a problem with flipper tabs sticking out. It's just not something that bugs me. I can appreciate a flipper tab that's inconspicuous and not sticking out real far, but it's not necessary for me. So let me give you an example. Here's a knife with a really inconspicuous flipper tab. This is the Kaiser Splinter, but this flipper tab is pretty inoffensive. But in order to flip it, you absolutely cannot light switch this. At least I can't. You have to, I'm sorry, you can't push button it, but you have to light switch it. That's at least in my experience. So this video is getting kind of long. It's almost 20 minutes of me just ranting and raving about this. Well, maybe not raving. I said this was an overview, and here we're at 20 minutes. So overall, do I think it's worth the money? Yeah, I think it's worth the money. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The fat carbon looks great. The Mokuti. This is my first knife I've ever had in Mokuti. It looks fantastic. It feels great. The ergos are really comfortable. Very comfortable knife to hold. The detent on it is tight, for sure. It definitely has a tight detent. I've been flipping it open since yesterday. I can push button and light switch. You can do either one. But even after adjusting the lock bar, as small as it was, it still takes some effort to open it. And my finger actually shows a little bit of battle scars from that. It's definitely a tight detent, for sure. But that's not a bad thing, especially with a knife like this. You probably can't really hear it on the video, but in person, it's got such a commanding thwack. If you open this, people are going to hear it. People in the room, maybe even in the next room, they're going to hear that you got your knife out, for sure. So, anyway, this turned into more of a review than an overview. If you're still sticking around this long, thank you. I could probably go on for another 20 minutes talking about this knife. I really think it's nice. It remains to be seen whether or not I'll actually keep it. It is a lot larger and heavier, especially heavier than what I normally use day to day. So, you know, remains to be seen whether or not I'll keep it, but I do plan on holding on to it at least for a while and enjoying it. I just wanted to get another video out there because I only had seen the one other review of that Arctic Storm one on YouTube, and I wasn't able to find really any reliable information about what the action was like. You know, at least in this case, you know, you add a little bit of lubrication to the pivot, and, you know, you don't even have to move the lock bar out like I did. You know, you're going to get it to close pretty easily. One other thing, the bearings, the multi-row bearings, I think it's an 18-ball bearing. They are in a plastic cage, but if you go on to skiffmadeblades.com, you can get a 18-ball brass, a phosphor bronze set, and it's only like $11 or $12 on Skiff Made Blades. So I did order that. Those are coming in today. So I'll install those, and I assume that's just going to give me a little bit more stability, you you know, it's not any additional balls or anything, but it's just going to maybe last a little longer. And I don't know. I just figure with a knife like this, I don't really want plastic bearings, so I can see the sentiment with that. Why not have phosphor bronze if I can get it, especially at a really good price? So I'm going to go ahead and put the phosphor bronze cage bearings in today. I don't really anticipate any real improvement with the action, maybe just in my head, but we'll see. So anyway, there you have it. That is the Horizon D NC Blade exclusive. This particular one is in lava flow with the Mokuti clip. And thank you so much for watching this very, very long overview video. And I'll see you all next time. Please remember, like the video if you liked it, and you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this or any other Reate knives, or any just knives in general. And if you could subscribe, I think that would be great too. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.